Welcome to Sunday Science, where we dive into a few recent scientific articles and their translation into our modern lives. Here is your host, Brent W. Laartz, MD.
All right, thank you for attending another episode of Sunday Science, where we are going to be talking about entrainment. So, entrainment involves the use of either auditory or visual stimulation in different entrainment patterns. So, this involves uh, a either a light source or something called isochronic beats, which would be just a monaural auditory source, or something called binaural beats, which basically creates the same thing, but it has to be with headphones, creating a binaural input into the brain. And by having a certain wavelength of sound or light, then you create this entrainment. So we know that there are different brain waves associated with certain types of wakefulness, concentration, or relaxation, or sleep. And these are the delta waves, theta waves, gamma waves, alpha waves. Alpha waves are associated with wakefulness. Gamma waves are associated with concentration and wakefulness. And then the theta and delta waves are associated with relaxation and sleep. So we're going to discuss just a few different studies showing different effects on sleep and then also on cognition with the 40 hertz or gamma wave entrainment. So I'll show you a little bit of some examples of entrainment. And I haven't used this specifically yet, but this is a light bulb and you're not going to be able to possibly completely appreciate the different wave length or the stimulation of this, because you're probably seeing this on either 60 hertz or 120 hertz display. And if you're listening to this just on auditory, I have a light bulb, I'm switching it on, and on my end, this blinks approximately once every 1/40th of a second, so 40 times per second, so 40 hertz. You're going to just notice some blinking on the screen, but it is not going to be possibly at 40 hertz. It may be a difference between your 60 hertz and not. So this is just a light bulb that does it. There are various products out there that can do the same thing. This is at 40 hertz. So we'll start with that 40 hertz and look up multiple studies. There are multiple studies associated with Alzheimer's disease and cognition with with this 40 hertz, either light source or with a binaural beat in the headphones. I'm going to show you for some example of this is a 5.5 hertz isochronic tone. So it doesn't need to be in the headphones. And this also has metal crystal bowls and rain associated with it, but it shows the 5.5 hertz. This is associated with better sleep. I'll show you some, let's see, that's binaural. You can search this. I use YouTube Music. You can search this looking for gamma wave. This is, let's see, this is theta wave. So let me look for gamma wave, and I'm going to look for isochronic beats. So isochronic tones would be ones that you would not need. And I'm not sure if you can hear that, but there's obviously some birds in the background. But if you listen really closely, you can hear a beat. And that is approximately 40 hertz gamma waves isochronic. Okay, so let's see if I can find another one. This is binaural. Let's see what this one has. No, this doesn't have it. This is 45 hertz binaural. Pure gamma waves. Let's see if this has a better. Here we go. This is better. This doesn't have the added music to it. This is basically a beat, 1/40th of a second and 40 times per second. This is associated with, some of the studies are using 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes of listening to this every day. Potentially, this can increase concentration also while you're studying and learning. And I'll show you just a quick show of this study, which was, all right, so this study, which is using binaural beats, using, let's pull this up here. There's hundreds of studies out there. This is a study showing gamma frequency entrainment attenuating amyloid load, and it modified the microglia. These patients were exposed to the 40 hertz binaural beats. Let's see, let's get this. This is attenuating. Um, Gamma stimulation showing improved sleep in Alzheimer's disease. They did continuous actigraphy recordings. So this is basically using studies of their sleep. There was a study in 2025 by Chan, which showed that overall putting a 40 hertz binaural beat into place in Alzheimer's disease improved their mini mental status exam, their different exams related to dementia and cognition, the CDR test, the FAS test, and the ADS cog test. All of these improved with respect to after the load of Alzheimer of these. And I'll show you just another study showing the improvement in sleep with theta entrainment. So there's delta and theta entrainment you can do, but this, let me show an example. Let me share. This, as you can see, I'm sharing a screenshot of somatic complaints after theta entrainment. So again, using either binaural beats or isochronic beats. In general, sleep is not using light source, but this before bedtime showed an improvement in somatic complaints in patients given theta entrainment before sleep for about 20 to 30 minutes before sleep. This study was Let me share a different screen here showing this is showing previous awakening quality. So the quality of wakefulness after you wake up, and this is subjective, but these patients and these study subjects who were sports related subjects in a university, they had better awakening quality. They also, okay, so we also had another area here where the subjective sleep quality, marked improvement in the sleep quality. So from a score of 10 up to 25. So you can see exactly what has happened here. So, all right. So hopefully you're able to see that on the screen. This was from, I'll share the exact study that came from. This was brainwave entrainment for better sleep and post-sleep state of young elite soccer players, a pilot study. So you can see this was in the journal, European Journal of Sports Science. They were trying to assess whether there was some improvement in their sports ability afterwards as well. I think they didn't necessarily show that per se, but definitely showed better sleep quality using the theta entrainment. All right, so thank you very much. This is really just a short episode here of Sunday Science because I'm getting into this before sleep using a theta entrainment of either light or an aural source. That's AURAL source of theta entrainment and maybe delta entrainment. There are different studies, fascinating area of research that we can delve into more as we go along here. I appreciate you visiting us, and we will be showing a lot more evidence-based medicine, showing how you can improve your sleep, improve your diet, improve your exercise quality, and your creativity and increasing longevity.
This site and any information communicated within it are not intended as medical advice. The information herein is not intended as medical care, diagnosis, or treatment of any medical condition. No component of this content, including discussion or comments, shall be construed or implied as establishing a doctor-patient relationship. Before you translate or copy any of the information, diet, exercise, or products utilized herein or on any social media post to your own practice, consult your own research, physician, therapist, or nutritionist for your own health. No warranties or claims are made as to the benefits or risks of any treatments, diet, exercise, or products herein. Research any treatments, diet, exercise, or products thoroughly before trying for yourself. Referral, affiliate, or advertising fees may be garnered by this site.